China announced retaliatory tariffs of 84% on imports of American goods on Wednesday, aligning with the additional tariffs implemented by US President Donald Trump earlier the same day, thereby escalating the ongoing trade conflict between the two largest economies in the world. Trump's extensive reciprocal tariffs came into effect earlier on Wednesday, with China facing the most significant impact, resulting in a total levy of at least 104% on all its exports to the US. The two nations have engaged in a continuous cycle of retaliatory measures, with Beijing consistently opposing each new tariff introduced by Washington. The trade dispute intensified further on Wednesday when the European Union declared its intention to start imposing retaliatory tariffs on US imports beginning the following Tuesday. Announcing China's response, the State Council Tariff Commission said in a statement, "The US escalation of tariffs on China is a mistake upon a mistake, severely infringing upon China's legitimate rights and interests and seriously damaging the multilateral trading system based on rules." The intensified response follows China's consistent warnings that it would fight to the end should the United States proceed with additional tariffs. On Wednesday, President Trump had initially planned to raise tariffs on Chinese imports by 34 percentage points. However, he subsequently added an additional 50 percentage points after China declined to compromise in the ongoing dispute. Before this latest escalation, Trump had already implemented a 20% tariff on Chinese goods. The ongoing tensions between these two major economies have caused fluctuations in global stock markets, resulting in predominantly lower performance in Asian and European markets, while US stocks opened with mixed results. This is getting so ridiculous that it's hard to believe it's actually happening between the two largest economies that make up almost 50 trillion of global GDP, almost half of the world, let alone a tariff war against the whole world, Peter Boockvar, Chief Investment Officer of Bleakley Financial Group, wrote in a research note. Alongside the heightened tariff imposition, China's Ministry of Commerce has enacted export restrictions on 12 American firms, prohibiting Chinese companies from providing them with dual-use goods that serve both military and civilian purposes. Furthermore, it added 6 additional US companies to its unreliable entity list, which prevents them from engaging in trade or making new investments in China. Additionally, a complaint has been lodged with the World Trade Organization regarding the recent US tariffs. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has dismissed China's retaliatory actions, stating in an interview with Fox Business on Wednesday that it is regrettable that China is unwilling to engage in negotiations for a tariff agreement. He characterized China as the worst offenders in the international trading system. They have the most unbalanced economy in the history of the modern world, and I can tell you that this escalation is a loser for them. They're the surplus country, Bessent said. China's exports to the US are 5 times our exports to China. So they can raise their tariffs, but so what? He said. The European Union announced on Wednesday came as a response to the sharp increase in US tariffs on all imports of steel and aluminum. The European Commission said that these countermeasures can be suspended at any time should the US agree to a fair and balanced negotiated outcome. As Trump intensified his tariff conflict, the response from the Chinese government, state media, and influential figures has been one of resistance, expressing their resolve to retaliate while still leaving room for negotiations. Following the implementation of the latest tariffs on Wednesday, a spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry informed reporters that the United States must exhibit an attitude of equality, respect, and mutual benefit if it genuinely wants to resolve the trade dispute through discussions. Additionally, China published a white paper detailing its trade and economic relationship with the United States, asserting that these relations have suffered due to the unilateral and protectionist actions taken by Donald Trump in Washington. In a written question and answer session regarding the white paper, an unnamed official from the Commerce Ministry stressed that China does not desire a trade war, but asserted that Beijing would never remain passive while the legitimate rights and interests of the Chinese population are endangered or taken away. If the US insists on further escalating the trade restrictions, China has the firm will and ample tools to make resolute countermeasures. And we will see it till the end, said the official. The ongoing series of tariffs coincides with China's renewed sense of economic strength after enduring a prolonged crisis in the real estate sector, significant local government debt, and the repercussions of Beijing's historic COVID lockdowns. Recently, the Chinese government unveiled a range of initiatives aimed at boosting domestic consumption, anticipating the effects of Trump's trade policies on its export-driven economy.